Okay. Hello and welcome to ALA. I'm here with some wonderful authors and we are with Albert Whitman. My name is Vera Ahiyya and we are going to discuss holidays around the world. And I'm so excited. Holidays are just like a wonderful way to help children especially understand that we're all connected. And so I have three amazing authors here to share their wonderful titles with you. Moni, would you like to start us off?
Sure. My name is Moni Ritchie Hadley. I am author of The Star Festival. It's illustrated by Mizuho Fujisawa, and it came out last month with Albert Whitman and Company.
Thank you. Alexandra?
Hi, I'm Alexandra Alessandri, and I am the author of Feliz New Year, Ava Gabriela. It is illustrated by Vera Ahiyya, and it just came out on October of last year.
So exciting. And Chitra?
Hi, I'm Chitra Soundar. I'm an author who lives in London. My book is Shubh Diwali, which came out 2019 during Diwali, which was amazing. And the second festival book is Holi Hai, which is coming out in January 2022. This is illustrated by Charlene Chua, and Holi Hai is illustrated by Darshika Verma.
Amazing. Thank you all so much. I also have all of your books and use them in our classroom. And they just, not only are they, again, a wonderful way for us to celebrate connections, but they're just beautiful books. They're just so well done. So thank you all. So we can go in any order, but our first question is, what inspired you all to write a book about this specific holiday?
Oh, you might have to pick, Vera.
Okay. I know sometimes it's
no one wants up a hand.
Moni, do you want to start us off?
Sure. Well, as a child living in Japan, I attended many festivals as a girl. And I realized as I was writing this book that I didn't really know what I was celebrating. So I dug into some research, and the Tanabata Matsuri, or the Star Festival, attracted me because of the beautiful colors, and the businesses hang beautiful ornaments that line the streets, and the tanzaku, or the paper wishes, are hanging all over the place on bamboo trees and branches. So that was the first reason. And then the second part of my research was the origins of the festival, and the story of Orihime and Hikoboshi, lovers who couldn't see each other but once a year, really caught my attention. And I saw the parallels between that story and the story I was writing. So that's why I chose the Star Festival.
Well, thank you. Chitra?
Shubh Diwali was written because I'm a Hindu, so I celebrate Diwali, and it's when we were growing up, Diwali is the major festival, the only festival for which we used to get a new dress, because we couldn't afford for all of the other stuff that we celebrate. So it was very special, and has fireworks usually, and lots of lamps and lots of sweets. But the thing was, across India and across Hindus across the world, each person celebrates it differently. So we chose one particular way of illustrating this, which is more the North Indian way of doing it. But I'm from South India, so we added an author's note at the back differentiating how I celebrated as a kid. And we had this whole 5-day holiday and 5-day festival, which is amazing. And Holi Hai, which is coming in January, is a color spring festival. And even though coming from the South, we don't celebrate it that much, for me, what interested was there are 4 different origin stories to that festival within India, from each part of India. And each of it has a special significance to today and to the culture. And we kind of decided, okay, this is a great festival to celebrate. And now I told that story to my nephews recently. And now every month when they visit, they come for a sleepover and they want the same story over and over again, even though they know what's going to happen to the demon. They keep going, oh, tell us when his body is cut off. tell us what happens in the fire. And they kind of enjoy the triumph of good over evil, which is very natural for children to be wanting to be fair and good. So that's my reason for the second book.
Thank you so much. And Alexandra?
So for me, for Feliz New Year, I'm Colombian American, and I had so many really joyous memories of celebrating New Year's with my family. Not just because it was New Year's, but because it was just such a series from December 7th to the beginning of January. It was just like one holiday, one celebration after another. And as an only child with a huge extended family, this was just a massive party. And there was so many little quirks that I really loved as a kid, like the Año Viejo and lentils in your pockets for good luck or for prosperous. Grapes, 12 grapes of New Year's for good luck, having your luggage and walking around with your luggage around the neighborhood. I always wanted to travel, and that was like probably one of the things that I wanted to do. So I really wanted to tap a lot into that joy. It took me a little bit to find the actual story within that, but it was just, I wanted to really capture the joy that those moments, the anticipation of looking toward that holiday, and yeah.
Thank you so much. I don't know if y'all noticed each other's faces, but every time someone told their story, these huge smiles were on all of our faces. It's just such a like joyous, of course, holidays are fun, but also learning about the ways that other people have celebrate around the world is just so exciting. So what is each of your personal favorite memories from celebrating these particular holidays?
Ooh, somebody has to pay. Okay, I'll go. For Diwali, the biggest one is usually when you're a child, it's a lot of the fireworks that you get to play with. And this was 1970s and 80s, so there's no health and safety in India at that time. So we used to go bring whatever we could afford, and I will always reserve some for the most noisy ones. That go bang, bang, bang. And in the South, we celebrate it early in the morning. So I'll be the first in the entire neighborhood to wake up at 3. And I will wake up the entire neighborhood with the biggest banging one. And then the lights will go off everywhere. And then all the kids will come out, and then we'll start. And then you have to go and do all the ceremony and everything, and then come back, and then they'll let you do the whole thing again. And the best thing is then parents will visit their parents' houses. So we used to go to my mom's dad's house, where all her siblings with their kids will come. And my granddad was rich, so my uncles had a huge set of fireworks, and then we'll just spend the rest of the day playing with that. So that's all of that energy I put into this, because that's kind of what reminds me, being together, playing together, and having fun, and egging on each other to be braver than the previous person, and all of that.
Thank you. I love that story. You sounds like you're a party starter, really. Is that you love the party starter?
Actually, no. But there are some things that I like to do.
Moni, would you love to share?
Well, mine is related. My most vivid memories are more the smaller moments, actually, than the big celebration, because with the festivals, we celebrated at home also. So I remember doing the sparklers, the handheld sparklers, and it was very meditative and introspective for me. And, the beautiful little lights, and then the little balls of fire that dropped and then just fizzled out when they hit the ground. So that in combination with just spending the time with my Japanese cousins was most memorable. I also have very vivid sense memories of, wearing the kimono, wrapping the obi, my mom pulling my hair into a ponytail as tight as possible, and I was at that awkward stage and had just gotten glasses and my ears stuck out, and just very, very vivid sense memories. And then wearing the geta and the sound of the geta batting the pavement as we walked to and from the festival. So just a lot of fun, basically.
Amazing. And Alexandra?
So it's kind of similar. Probably the biggest memory that I have is with the Año Viejo. When I was little, we used to burn it. It was made out of hay or paper, newspaper, and my older cousin was always the one who would venture out and light it on fire, and that almost like that symbolic. But for a kid, watching this, doll kind of just take flight was very interesting. But I think. So that was the grand one, but one of the ones that I really love actually has to do with family. My grandfather loves to dance, and we have a lot of musicians in the family, and there was always some kind of musical instrument and definitely a lot of dancing. And my grandfather would always take out he has 11 daughters, and most of us lived kind of within close proximity. So he would start with my grandmother and then take out all his daughters, and then most of my generation, most of us are women, and he would take all of us out dancing. And so then he would repeat and start all over again. And so that was kind of like the prelude to then when midnight hit and we would bust out the grapes and whatnot. But
That's awesome. Thank you all so much. So I feel like I understand why it was important for y'all to share these stories. Because I feel like just even in this very short conversation, I've learned so much. But can you tell us a little bit why it is important for you to share these holidays or stories with young people? Alexandra, would you like to start?
I can start.
Thank you.
I think probably my biggest motivator with sharing a lot of the joy that comes with this holiday and with a lot of the stories that I like writing is because I grew up with a lot of the negative stereotypes of being Colombian. I had a penny for every time I heard about the drugs or about the guerrilla or about you name it. And so I really wanted to tap into just the other side and the beauty and the magic and the family and the joy that comes in these moments in celebrating.
Thank you. Chitra or Moni, would you?
Sure, I'll go. Well, the Star Festival is really a love story between the two stars, Orihime and Hikoboshi, and about relationships. And it opened up, for me, it was important to write it. And what I realized in hindsight, that it opened up a conversation with me and my mother and created a deeper bond between me and my mother. And in the story, there's 3 generations of women. Keiko and her mama are taking care of Oba, her grandmother. And I think it's important for kids to, festivals are fun, but it really is about family. So kids will identify with that aspect. And I think it would be great for kids who don't to get a peek into another culture to see how they do it maybe a little bit differently, maybe a little bit the same, just to see how we're all connected and to maybe have them also wonder about what goes on the other side of the world.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think for the 2 stories, the 2 books, how they came about was very different and why I chose to do them. Diwali has the 5-day festival. Each day has a different story. So for me, I always was fascinated with each of the stories and how they vary from region to region within India, but also Diwali is a secular festival in many respects, like Christmas. India is home to 5 different religions, and people celebrate it even though it's not their primary religion, because everybody else is celebrating during that time and you get to celebrate. But also Buddhism has Diwali in it in India. on the same day they celebrate something else that's related to, like today is Vesak Day, Buddha Purnima, which is Buddha's birthday today. Similarly, on Diwali Day they celebrate something similar. Jainism, they have a similar celebration on the same day. Sikhism has a similar celebration on the same day. So everybody has a reason to celebrate because they branched out of Hinduism in some respect. And everybody else, like the Christians, Muslims, all of them, it's a day when everybody else is celebrating. So for me, especially Charlene did that beautifully in the illustrations, was very inclusive, where in the celebrations, and we said this in North America, and when they do the celebration, she brought in all the neighbors and had inclusive kids in wheelchairs, and we had friends from everywhere. So we wanted to make sure that that feeling of let's celebrate with everyone come through. In Holi, it took a completely different way. Again, I said Holi had different origin stories, but the one we pursued was the usual good over evil kind of thing. But we didn't approach the story as this is the festival, let's celebrate it. We approached the story through the narrator, a little girl who gets angry, and the colors of the festival kind of then inspires her to forgive and forget and come and be part of the festival. So that completely had a different narrative voice to do, because we didn't want to just to do another this is how we celebrate textbook festival thingy. We wanted to share what happens in like all our families. When we come together, there's always somebody fighting in the corner, and then somebody has to go and fix them up or make them shake hands, whether they're grown-ups or children. We do have that when we come together, and that's kind of what the Holi Hai book talks about, how you get angry and then you become normal again and then join in. So that's the two ways in which we wanted to share the story with everybody.
Thank you so much. So I feel like we have such a great understanding of, your own personal stories and connections to these books, but also what these stories are about. Can you help librarians and teachers find ways in which they can use your books, or just, when these holidays come up, how can we celebrate them in our classrooms and our libraries in a way that is respectful and honoring without, appropriating or kind of glossing over? If you have any suggestions or tips, I know I personally will be writing them down. So I can pick. Moni, would you like to start us off?
Sure. I think for especially the younger grades, as the kids are, studying who they are, who their families are, and where they come from, and that sort of thing. I think the book is very appropriate for those conversations. As far as related crafts and ways to celebrate, to help celebrate this particular festival, I have lots of ideas. The making of the tanzaku and the wishes are a really great one. So you can make these, it's a good one for older kids and younger kids. They can write their wishes down. They can be pre-cut for the younger kids. And if the kids aren't writing, they can even do their wishes in pictures, something like that, what they wish for. The tradition or the festival originates from the Kishi holiday in China, and then translated into Japanese. It came I think in Korea and Vietnam, they celebrate some version of it also. So this is a really good activity. And then I also have extended activities where the kids can make, the little origami cows as a part of Hikoboshi's herd, or Orihime is a weaver. So anything, the festival incorporates a lot of thread-like visuals. The noodles that they eat are like threads. The colorful streamers that hang from the sky are like Orihime's threads, and very simple weaving techniques with construction paper and things like that can be used to supplement the book.
Thank you. That's so exciting. I love that you had visuals ready. That's amazing. Thank you. Alexandra?
So one of the things that I actually really enjoyed, two things that I really enjoyed doing this past New Year's with Feliz New Year, and that I think could be really useful, but both in library setting and in classroom setting. One is actually just taking a look at how we celebrate New Year's, and not necessarily December 31st New Year's, just taking a look at other books, having a conversation and sharing. I know that the kids that I've spoken to since the publication of the book, we've had some really cool, well, I celebrate this way, or I also do the grapes, but I don't know what this is. And so just having that collective conversation and seeing that even, that we have some similarities, some overlapping, even in the differences, just kind of building on that, which is really fun. In terms of crafts, I also have, and I don't have a visual just because I kind of popped him this last New Year's Eve. But in the book, the Año Viejo, which is the doll to say goodbye to the old year, it's the old year doll. We do it in my family out of balloons, and so in the book it's made out of balloons. And so there is actually a craft. I have a craft in my teacher's guide and activity kit where kids can build their own Año Viejo. And then it's pretty easy to make, and they can build it, decorate them however they want. And then they can use that to pop and say goodbye to the old year.
I love that so much because I love the idea of like moving on and moving forward. And I think for the way that my family celebrates, we never do a like goodbye New Year. It's just like over and then we start. Yeah. Like, thank you. Chitra, would you like to?
Yeah. For the festivals, one of the things I normally tell schools when I take the books into is there are multiple stories to be able to discover those stories and read them in class and understand the differences of why there are so many stories, because I'm always fascinated how, whether it's Christmas, whether it's Diwali or any festival, how the entire diaspora celebrates it differently, and each of us have different customs that suit the place where we live, the families we are part of, and even within a community, each family celebrates it differently. Each food is different. So that's one thing I normally ask children to do. And then there are loads of arts and crafts on my website. So things like how to make, so the lamp, we normally buy mud lamps for those, but you can make them with Play-Doh, those lamps as well. And you can draw, cut them out. Also the buntings we make specifically, and it says in the book as well. So these buntings are made from mango leaves. So it's basically just fold the leaf, the thick part of the stem back into the leaf. So it creates a loop and then you hang them up. So that used to be the children's activity at home when the festival is on. So that's something that you might not get a mango leaf, but you can get a leaf big enough in your garden, then you might be able to do that. For Holi, we actually have a back page which explains how to do the colors at home using natural substances. So how to do it from turmeric, or how to do it from each of the things that we use, like crush the beetroot to get your purples, and spinach and mint for green, and that kind of stuff. So it's not only hands-on, it's fun, but it will also be learning about how we made fabric dyes before these chemicals and all came through. So you, even for an older class, you can use that to teach origins of fabrics and dyes and how people used to do them before. And there's a whole lot of stuff. If you go on like any of the museums websites, like textile museums anywhere in the world, you can find a lot of that information, and that's a great research project to go into for all the classes as well. Because that book is coming out in January, there'll be loads of resources before that. For this book, there are already loads of resources on the website, so librarians and teachers can definitely get hold of that.
Oh, thank you. I feel like that's also a great science project too. It's like what, for the younger kids, like what colors make what colors, but as they get older, what reactions do you get when you mix certain things together? I love it. So exciting. So we'll wrap this up quickly. I just thought of a question that I think is great, but so you've written these wonderful books about holidays that are meaningful or celebrations that are meaningful to you. I would like to know really quickly, which of your own holiday is your most favorite? Does it match with the book you wrote, or do you have a special holiday that you just absolutely love?
For me, it's Diwali. That's my favorite. That's why I started with that one.
Thank you.
For me, it's the whole December.
Mm.
So it's like the whole series. That New Year's just happens to be part of it, but it's the whole series. And there's a lot of family gatherings and music and food and dancing and fun.
Thank you.
I would have to say Christmas, mostly because everybody makes time for Christmas. And so it is a time to be together. Yeah.
Thank you all so much. This was just so wonderful. I can't tell you how meaningful it is to hear more about these books that you've shared with all of us. And I hope that whoever is watching feels excited and inspired to not only share your stories, but share more stories. There's so many stories out there, so many holidays and celebrations that we can learn that we're all connected. And
thank you for having us.
Vera, what's your favorite holiday?
Oh, I wasn't prepared. I love Halloween. I love Halloween. Yeah, I love the dress up. I love the candy. I love Halloween. Oh, thank you. That was Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, ALA. Thank you, Albert Whitman. If you want to find out more information about these lovely books and so much more, please visit the albertwhitman.com website. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.